yes, 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 yes. All right. Excellent. Got my microphone on. That was one step I was missing. Welcome, everyone. Let me get situated. Try to get logged on here so I can see any comments or who's tuning in. Happy Monday. Happy 2021. Alright. Figuring out this feedback loop here. Alright. Step by step. Here we go. We're on this page. I am live now. Getting my notifications. Oh, look, there's already people watching. Oh, my socks are still in the frame. Sweet. Let me just put this over there. All right. Good to see you, Debbie, Aaron, and Aubrey. Happier 2021. Here we are. Thanks for being here. What a day. Mondays. Everything is coming back into focus. The holidays were very, very restful. Fairly busy. Eventful. Yes. So how do we find our way back on track, not knowing what your individual situation is like, but how do we find our way back into a regular rhythm of getting our stuff done while also taking care of ourselves and still staying in that cheery, harmonious vibe that the celebrations and the festivities have put us in? How do we carry this through the, January, February in Minnesota here? And how do we really keep that? Oh, hey, Kristen, what's up? My sister-in-law from Nashville tuning in today. Beautiful, beautiful to see technology doing what it's supposed to, making us more connected. So how do we find our way back to our regular routines while carrying that sense of joy and cheer and festivity and celebration? Because the real art of life is not waiting for holidays to feel grateful. It's not about waiting for the holidays to reach out to family or to give someone a gift or just appreciate someone with some kindness. So really happy to be back. Had a lot of great conversations this week with people that are just ready for a new year. Like not just the cliche new year, new me, but really ready to move into a new version of themselves, and put themselves at the forefront of their priorities. How do we develop ourselves? How do we listen to our body? How do we find our health, our fulfillment, our joy, our satisfaction? And how do we make that a priority in our life to share with others? So let's do a little yoga. That's the way that helps me find my way back to center. Helps the scattered thoughts come back to the here and now. Because yoga means union. The unification of the mind, the body, the spirit with the present moment. So let's practice two main techniques in the yoga realm or system of development is the pranayama, also known as breath work, or understanding how to harness life's energy through breathing. Prana is life force, yama is to harness it. And that just means breathing, specifically, like in a thoughtful and intentional way. Then the second is the asana, or the poses, the posture, how you're seated or laying or standing, and all the different shapes you can make with your body. We're going to practice those two principles or techniques of yoga today. So join me for a little pranayama, a little harnessing of our energy through the breath. So let's sit up tall, relax the shoulders. Maybe you have your legs crossed. Not everybody can cross their legs, and that's okay. You have to meet your body where you're at. And every body is unique. So you are the teacher, your body is the textbook. Listen in to what's going on inside. Don't do anything that hurts. Modify however feels good. All we're doing is breathing and paying attention to what happens at this moment. So as we're sitting up tall, let's breathe in through the nose. Deeply in all the ways that the belly expands, and then you breathe out. Sitting up tall, relaxing the shoulders, keeping the spine long. Let the lungs fill. And deflate while keeping the spine nice and vertical. Now you might notice that you can hear the sound of my breath. In and out. I'm creating a slight constriction in the back of my throat, like snoring, but not quite snoring, just creating that whooshing sound. And that whooshing sound plays a very good role in keeping our attention because it takes force and attention to create that noise, but it's also like a deep shushing or comforting of our inner child, the baby within us. Something about that soothing sound that calms our nervous system. Speaking of the nervous system, this expansive breath that we're taking in and out, keep going. It's massaging our vagus nerve, this special nerve in our body that runs from down around the top of our belly and our heart, up to our throat, into our brain. And this tells our nervous system, are we fighting for our life? Are we in the survival state? Or are we in the rest and digest and regenerate healing mode? So just breathing deeply, using the diaphragm, creating that whooshing sound. In and out. This is medicine. The breath is operating on several systems of our body to tell ourselves, our deep self, that we are safe, that we are healing, and we can let our guard down. So a few more breaths, and I'll introduce one more concept. Once you find yourself fully embodied through that breath, noticing if there's tension, if there's tingling, if there's heat, whatever you find, keep breathing. This last concept I'll address is the bandhas, the internal locks. We pull up and in on the soft tissue of our bottom like a Kegel lift. And as we draw up and in on those muscles, we feel activation at the base of our spine. The second lock is the upward flying lock by pulling our belly button in toward our spine and scooping upward like we're trying to draw our whole belly up underneath our rib cage. By doing so, we're activating not only the transversus muscles that hold our organs in integrity, but also the lattice-like muscles, the multifidi along our spine. So just feel these things taking place. Pull in on the pelvic floor and pull in on the belly button until you feel supported. And then release those muscles and see what shifts, because we're creating this internal massage with every breath. Take a few more and we'll begin moving, coordinating the breath and the bandhas and this movement deep within. Very good. I think we should start out on our belly for our first pose. Crocodile pose. Oh, so simple. Let's lay down flat on our belly. Stack the right hand on top of the left hand. And place the left cheek on top of that right hand. As we're laying flat on the ground, notice your subtle controls. Has your breath returned to shallow? Bring the breath back to something abundant and healing. Feel how when the belly inflates and the lungs inflate, what that does to the spine in this pose. Take your time, observe your body, tap into that wisdom within the body. The body knows how to heal itself. The body knows what it's doing. All you have to do is guide your attention to the breath. For more engagement of that low back, you can push the tops of your feet into the mat. You can scoop your hips forward into the mat. You can draw your shoulders away from the ears, lengthening the neck. One more big breath here. All the way in and all the way out. Second side, let's place the left hand on top of the right hand and the right cheek on top of that hand. Notice the length of the spine, notice the size of the breath. Whatever you find, you decide if you want to hold on to that feeling or sensation, or if that feeling and sensation doesn't serve you, let it go. This might be tension in the shoulders or the face or the low back. This might feel like tightness around the heart. Whatever it is, observe what your body shows you, and you decide whether you're releasing it or keeping it. But if it doesn't serve you, let it go. We're going to slowly make our way back to extended child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch and knees wide on the mat. Send your hips back. Walk your hands forward. Ooh, from here, you likely feel the breath, the hips, the low back, whatever you find, keep breathing your attention to there. Pressing the hands into the mat, pull the ground back towards you. Roll the shoulders out so your elbows, your forearms press into the ground. Pressure into the ground to pull your spine long. Pull your shoulder blades, your armpits, the front of your chest even, and breathe deeply. You can keep on bringing your knees a little wider, sending your hips further back. You can bring your forehead to the mat and listen to the sound of that powerful breath, coming and going like ocean waves. The more powerful you make the breath, the more embodied you become, the more awareness you have of your inner world, the connections within your body. Walking your hands in a bit, we're going to press back to a downward facing dog. Now, depending on your body, this might be very intense and might not be for you. But just go slow. Plant your hands as wide apart as your shoulders. And plant your feet as wide apart as your hips. Now, like you're going to do a push-up in a high plank, just send your hips high. So you're like a capital A or an upside down V. Sending your hips high, your heart back towards your thighs. Squeeze your hands into the mat and roll your shoulders outward. If this pose is too much, that's okay. You can go back to that extended child's pose with your knees wide and your arms pressing into the ground. If you're in this pose here, engage your shoulders by rolling your shoulders outward and pointing the elbow points down toward the ground. Tuck your chin like you're trying to look up at your belly button. Keep sending your heart back toward your thighs. We'll take one more big breath here. Remember, if you're ever tired, ask yourself, are you breathing as big as you can? And on your exhale, step your feet behind your wrists and fold forward. for Ragdoll Pose. Capture your elbows with your hands. Have a nice bend in the knees. Hello, Kirsten. Keep on breathing deeply. Expanding your belly, expanding your low back. Oh, big breaths. And we'll slowly rise to stand. You can heel toe your feet together. And keep on rising. Whew. Let's bring hands together at heart center. Press the palms together. Soften through the arches of the feet. Stand up tall by engaging all of these subtle muscles. Pull up on the kneecaps. Firm the thighs, tuck the tailbone. Draw in on the belly button. Draw down on the shoulders and up through the crown of the head. This is an active standing pose. Samastitihi, it's called. The pose of sameness, of symmetry, and of gratitude. Feel your body. Feel thankful for your body that you can stand self-aware, capable, strong, present. We'll exhale the breath from the lungs. And on your inhale, shoot, I forgot to change my camera angle. Sorry. Here we are. Hey. All right. Palms together at heart center. Relax your shoulders. And on your inhale, sweep arms high. Tadasana. Reach up, really find some space in your rib cage. And on your exhale, fold forward, leading your heart towards your knees. Relax your shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Knees roll in. Drop back on your shoulders. Find length in the spine. Pull in on the bandhas. Take one more big breath here. And step back to a high plank, lowering all the way down to your belly. Okay, microphone, here we are. Let's take a low cobra. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Lift your chest high, up off the ground. Engage the low back. Pull back on your elbows. Tuck the chin, reach through the crown of the head. And we'll push back to either extended child's pose, where we can massage out the low back using those bandhas, the pelvic floor, the belly button. And you can press back to down dog if that feels good in your body. Big breaths. I love how my hair just always rubs against the microphone when I'm upside down. All right. One more big inhale. Exhale, step to a forward fold. Feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, reach that long spine. And exhale, fold forward once again, noticing the hips, the hamstrings, the low back, the shoulders, and the breath, of course. On your inhale, sweep arms high, reach tall, and exhale, hands to heart center. Awesome. Now, let's get into the hips a little bit. We've got the spine kind of flexed in all directions, that little series we just did, that modified sun salutation. We move the spine in all directions, and I consider that like cracking your glow stick. When you start moving like that, you start breaking the hard dams and the blockages to allow flow to happen, chemicals to mix together, and that magic glow to take place. Let's step our feet wide. Another key intersection of the body, other than the spine, is the hips. And they do relate to the spine, obviously, as well, too. So we're going to feel these connections through the bandhas and through these poses. So with the feet stepped wide, you don't need your feet too far apart. If it's painful or extreme, bring your feet in closer together. If you're looking for a little more intensity, you can bring your feet a little wider. But you don't need anything extreme, and you don't want any pain in this practice. All right, so first we'll take the right toes and point them directly out to the side. We're going to bend the knee so it's right above that ankle. So this knee is stacked right above the ankle. Our back leg is actively straight. Our back toes are at a diagonal, a little bit toward the side wall and a little bit forward, considering this right foot being forward. So a diagonal. The heel on the front foot should line up with the arch of the back foot in a nice line. Now we traction our feet together or into the ground so we engage the inner thighs, feeling very supported. Feel the ground, feel yourself pressing into the ground. We're going to bring the arms to both sides and the chin right above the right shoulder. This pose is called Warrior Two. Some keys, refinement cues here would be roll your tailbone under. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen your spine and open your chest by reaching your arms further apart. Big breaths. Use those bandhas, the pelvic floor and the belly button. One more big inhale. Now we're going to take extended side angle, reaching that right elbow toward the right knee and reaching the left hand at an angle over the head and forward. So it's like a long line from the back heel out through the index finger. Look up toward that hand. Open your chest even a little bit toward the side wall or the sky. And if you're looking for more of a challenge, take all the weight off that front arm and maybe try paralleling your arms at that angle. The next inhale, we're going to take reverse warrior. Deep bend in the front knee, still actively straight through that back leg, tractioning the feet towards each other. Look up toward the upper hand, draw down on the shoulders. Big breath. See where your body is speaking to you and listen. Respond by softening that area, connecting those neural pathways. Coming out of this pose, we're going to bring your right toes back to in front of you. Directionally, I'm not sure what that is. That way. We're going to take the left toes out and point them directly out to the side. Bend the front knee so it stacks right above that ankle. Now once again, if this is extreme, bring your feet closer together. If you're looking for more intensity, move that foot for a little straight out more so to deepen that stretch, because the knee remains above the ankle. Even if you move that front foot out a little more, you just come a little deeper. Arms to the front and back of the mat, chin right above the left shoulder. Traction the feet together, roll the tailbone under, relax the shoulders. Big breaths. See what's shifting, see what's engaged, see what's tight, see what's stiff. See where flow and vitality is returning to your body, and feel where your body is resisting it. And on your next exhale, extended side angle. Left elbow comes to the left knee. Right hand reaches overhead and in front. So your whole right side body is a long line, a long ramp. Look up toward that upper hand. Little to no weight in that front arm. Option to take that front arm and parallel it with the other one, using all the effort of the side body. One more big inhale, bringing yourself to reverse warrior. Left hand reaches straight overhead. Right hand can come down the right thigh or around the back toward the left thigh. Look up toward that upper hand. Draw both shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the tailbone Big breaths. Notice where your body responds. This is a full body engagement. You're going to find what your body is hiding. One more big inhale. And we'll come back to center. Let's take one more deep hip stretch. Heels in, toes out. We're going to take a Yogi Squat. It's exactly like it sounds. Bring your hands together at heart center and bend your knees, sitting deeply. You can bring your knees a little closer in towards each other for less intensity. You can even push the elbows into the insides of the knees. Find some organic movement, maybe a little swaying from side to side. Deep breaths. Whew. And we'll bring our hands to the mat, heel toe the feet together, and have a seat. Feel where your body is worked. We're going to lower down onto our back for 2 more poses and a final resting Shavasana. Bridge pose is the first pose here. I got too much going on with this mic and this hat and this hair. All right, bring the heels in close to the seat. Feet hip width distance apart. Ground down through the heels and the arches of the feet. Roll your knees towards each other as you send your hips higher. Pull in on that pelvic floor. Breathe into the belly. Deep breaths. Lower your hips down. Rock your knees from side to side. Lift your feet up above your hips. Let your legs kind of drain out. Take any organic movement. I forgot to change my camera again. Oh, goodness. And lower down onto your back for final Shavasana. Laying flat on your back. Try to find space. Arms wide, legs wide, so there's no pinching or constriction. Try to melt your body wherever you can to get more of your body onto the ground. Keep the breath, center point of focus, or any sensation of the body. Notice if the mind wanders to another time or place, and continue bringing it back to the now. Let your body tell the story of the now, and listen. You can hug your knees into your chest. Squeeze yourself in tight. Give that hug to yourself that no one else can give. The hug that reminds you you are enough, exactly where you're at. And that everything in the future will unfold exactly how you intend. With this hug, we also release any need to be attached to any outcome. All we have to do is take step by step toward what we want, day after day. Let's return to a comfortable seated position. Spine long. Shoulders relaxed. Hands together at heart center. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Namaste. I'm going to be back in literally 1 minute for a mindfulness and meditation talk. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all the comments, the community, and make sure to leave any suggestions anywhere you'd like to work on in your body, any poses that you need any more pointers on, or cues, or explanations, or just fine-tuning anything in your practice. I'm here for that. So tune right back in if you're feeling it for meditation and mindfulness. Thanks a lot, everybody. Happy Monday.